If you're a student and your mornings feel rushed, chaotic, or heavy before the day even starts, this isn't because you're lazy or undisciplined. It's because your morning is silently working against you. Most students wake up already tired, already distracted, already behind. Not because they didn't sleep enough, but because their brain never got a clear start. And over time, this does something dangerous. It trains you to believe that feeling overwhelmed is normal. It's not. Science is very clear about this. The first hour after you wake up doesn't just start your day. It programs your focus, energy, and decision-making for the next 12 hours, which means every rushed morning is quietly shaping the kind of student you're becoming. And once you understand that, mornings stop feeling like a struggle and start feeling like leverage. Here's the first thing most students get wrong. They think the goal of the morning is to be productive. It's not. The goal of the morning is to create control. Your brain wakes up in a highly suggestible state. Cortisol is naturally elevated. This is normal, but what you do in this window decides whether that energy turns into clarity or anxiety. And most students unknowingly choose anxiety. That's why the first habit is simple but powerful. Wake up at the same time every day. Not early. Consistent. Your brain runs on an internal clock called the circadian rhythm. When you wake up at random times, that clock never stabilizes. And when it doesn't, your focus, mood, and memory all suffer, even if you sleep long hours. Students who wake up at the same time every day don't just feel more awake. They feel more in control, because consistency removes negotiation. There's no debate in your head. No, just 5 more minutes. No mental friction. Your system already knows what to do, and that single habit quietly builds discipline without effort. Now comes the habit that science is almost aggressive about, and the one most students resist the most. No phone in the first 30 to 60 minutes. When you wake up and immediately check your phone, you trigger dopamine spikes before your brain is fully online. Notifications, reels, messages, they hijack your attention before you've chosen what matters. Studies show this fragments focus for hours. This is why so many students say, "I don't know why I can't concentrate today." The truth is uncomfortable. The damage was already done in the first 10 minutes. Instead, your brain needs calm input first. Light, movement, stillness. Even something as simple as making your bed matters more than it sounds. Not because of productivity, but because it gives your brain a completed task early. That creates momentum. Drink water. Open a window. Step into sunlight for a minute or two. Sunlight early in the day anchors your circadian rhythm and improves alertness later, even at night. You're not trying to optimize life. You're just giving your brain a clear signal. We're awake and we're in control. Then comes movement. The habit that decides how alive you feel for the rest of the day. This is where most students misunderstand motivation. You don't move because you feel energized. You move to create energy. Even 5 minutes of movement increases blood flow to the brain, improves working memory, and reduces stress hormones. This isn't about fitness. It's about activation. Stretch, walk, a few push-ups. Anything that tells your nervous system you're not in sleep mode anymore. Students who move early don't just feel better physically, they think clearer, they react less emotionally, they study with less resistance. And that brings us to food, the habit that quietly controls your patience and focus. Most students start their day with sugar or skip breakfast entirely. Both create the same result, a crash. Protein in the morning stabilizes blood sugar and improves concentration. Eggs, yogurt, a protein shake. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to support your brain, not spike it. What you eat early doesn't just affect energy. It affects patience, focus, decision-making. Now here's where mornings stop being about health and start shaping your future. The hardest task comes first. Your willpower is strongest in the morning. That's not motivation. That's biology. Every decision you make drains mental energy. By the afternoon, your brain is tired of choosing. So if you leave the most important task for later, it often never gets done. Not because you're incapable, but because your mental battery is empty. This doesn't mean studying for 3 hours. It means starting. One problem, one page, one concept. Students who do the hardest thing first don't necessarily work longer. They work lighter, because the rest of the day stops feeling heavy once the hardest thing is handled. And notice something important. None of these habits are extreme. No 4 a.m. wake up, no perfect routine, no motivation speeches. just systems that work with your brain instead of against it. Now let's talk about why most students fail to stick to any routine at all. They aim for perfect mornings. Perfection creates pressure. Pressure creates avoidance. The brain doesn't resist discipline. It resists overwhelm. That's why the perfect morning is not rigid. It's predictable. Wake up at the same time. Protect the first hour. Move a little. Fuel your brain. Do one hard thing. That's it. And when you miss a day, because you will, you don't quit. You return. This is where science and psychology meet. Consistency builds identity. When you show up to your morning, even imperfectly, your brain starts to see you differently. Not as someone trying to improve, but as someone who does. Confidence grows quietly here, not from success, but from repetition. Over time, something changes. You stop waking up anxious. You stop feeling behind before the day starts. Studying feels lighter. Decisions feel clearer. Not because life became easier, but because your mornings stopped fighting you. And this is the part most students don't realize until years later. Your future isn't built in long study sessions or rare motivation bursts. It's built every morning when no one is watching, when you choose consistency over chaos, control over reaction, systems over stress. You don't need to change everything tomorrow. But tomorrow morning, protect just the first hour. That single decision compounds faster than you think. Let discipline, not motivation, do the heavy lifting. Because when your mornings work, everything else follows.